Morning, everybody. It's Nick. So I wanted to talk today. It's about a few things. At the heart, it's about walking. It's actually about something as simple as walking, but obviously, it's never quite that simple, is it? There's lots and lots of layers underneath it. So, where to start? Yeah, where to start? So, my menopause is about 5 years in now, and it's it is tough. It is tough. I mean, there's the mental side, the emotional side, the physical side, the change in our bodies, the aches and pains, the tiredness, the anxiety, the sadness, all of these things that we talk about a lot with menopause. But also there's something else that's really quite profound that sits alongside it, which is it's actually the grief for losing who we've been. I've changed massively. The menopause has been it's where I think my body and my approach to life has changed as much in the menopause as it did when I had children. That's how significant it is. It's really significant. I have a lot of support. I have a lot of medical support, and therefore I function pretty well most of the time. I know a lot of women don't, and are really struggling. And it's tiring. It's tiring when women are struggling every day because they open their eyes in the morning and they're so tired, and it takes all of their energy just to get through the day. So them being surrounded with another layer, another narrative of expectations, and I think it's a really unhelpful narrative. Actually, it needs calling out about what we can do to be younger, but we can't. It's physically impossible. We are where we are at a point in time, and actually the kindest thing we can do is to actually respect our bodies and minds at that point in time. So when I see a lot of role models, or the illusion of supposedly role models, which for me aren't role models, of basically middle-aged women doing everything they possibly can to hold back the tide of time with Botox and fillers and really punishing regimes and diets to keep themselves as thin as possible and all the rest of it. I think it's really unhelpful to middle-aged women, and it's really unhelpful to helping society accept and be more be kinder, and to see the beauty in a woman in her age and how she's meant to look at that age. We can't fight the tide. We can't be younger. And I think the other thing, a big thing about the menopause, obviously, it's our phase. It is our final phase that we're going into. I'm 51 years old now. I've probably been alive longer than I'm actually going to continue to live. That's just the reality. That is a fundamental, indisputable fact of being human. My mortality is there. Now, and there is grief that goes with that. And it's very difficult because we don't live in a society which handles mortality very well. We don't talk about it. It's this, big horrible thing in the corner that's left over there that happens to somebody else, but it doesn't. It happens to us. And death's not going to go away. Mortality is not, going to disappear overnight. So I think we actually need to have a relationship with it. I think we need to get to know it and make it less scary. But that's a massive conversation elsewhere. So back to where I am in the menopause. So it's a really complex, really, really complex time of life that it's not illuminated and talked about, and we're not educated and supported in the same way as we are when we start having children. It's getting better around the menopause, but there's a long way to go. So it is a bit of my world was definitely shaken. And one of the big things that came out of that was I stopped being a fit, active person, and it's been degrading and getting less and less over time until eventually, and maybe this was Mother Nature stepping in, I don't know, maybe, they say always look for the gift in something. I was playing squash just over a year ago and I ruptured my Achilles tendon, and whole story resulting in surgery, and it's now rehabilitating. And so I've just, yeah, my physicality has just been eroded over time, and I don't think I'd quite appreciated how much of me was lost really because of that. And then two things happened. The Salt Path caught my eye. It's a book, and it is just, yeah, for me it was one of those really life-changing books. And also Ben Fogle, who I follow, does a program on people living basically off grid, and there was one in particular, one family that caught my eye, a guy and his wife and baby who are walking the UK coast. Both of these stories, the theme they've got is you've got homeless, penniless people with no other options really. Life is closing in on them, and they actually chose to basically pack a bag, start walking, and wild camped, come rain or shine, and hope that during that process and during that journey they would find the answers to what would seemingly impossible and unsolvable problems. But both massive stories of inspiration and hope, and of something coming out of nothing, quite frankly. And it really made me stop and think, and it just really triggered something in me that says, you've got to get out, mate. You've got to get out and you've got to move. And it's really important to get out and move in Mother Nature. So not to rock up at some, trendy gym or commit to some classes or any of that jazz. That's just too far away from me at the minute. It's just too far from where I am. I just need to do something really simple, really accessible, really natural. And I live in the countryside, so I got back last week from a break with the family. I just thought, no matter what, Monday to Friday, I'm going to get up. I'm in Lark anyway. I get up early. I live in the countryside. There is the most stunning walks around us. I've got 5 dogs. I'm just going to take, a couple of dogs each morning. I'm not quite ready for the 5 dogs yet. My leg's not quite strong enough. I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to walk for 30 minutes. Doesn't matter how slow. I'm just going to walk for 30 minutes. And today was day 2. Yesterday was hard. Yeah, I am really unfit. There's quite a lot of hills on the walk, and obviously me being me is pushing myself to walk quite fast, and well, as fast as you can when you kind of dragging one of your legs with you. But anyway, it was hard, but I did it, and I decided to post stuff on social media to hold me accountable, not some narcissistic saying, "Ooh, look at me, look how fit I am," or how wonderful and motivated and disciplined I am. No, none of that. Absolutely none. It's just a middle-aged woman managing to get a 30-minute walk in without keeling over. That's basically as good as it gets. Today was day 2. Didn't want to go. Was really tired this morning, but I was just determined. And I went, and do you know what happened this morning? Already on day 2, it's not about the physical, it's about the mental, and it's about the clarity. And what I remembered, what came back to me when I was walking this morning was, I've got 3 children. And after I had 3 children quite quickly, so I had 3 children under 5 years old, and my husband worked away, and I was on my own. And my daughter, when she was a baby, didn't sleep. I would be up 3 or 4 times a night. So in the morning when I got up, I can just remember being so desperately tired. It was just untrue, and really struggling. Actually, I had postnatal depression. I was really, honestly, I want to cry now thinking about it. I was really, really struggling to hold it all together. I mean, I wasn't really holding it all together, but anyway, take a deep breath, think, move on. What I used to do, I had a double buggy with these massive air tyres, which was brilliant. I had 4 Cavaliers, King Charles Cavaliers. I used to strap the dogs around my waist on the lead. I used to put all 3 kids in my double buggy. One was sat on the front. I used to put my running trainers on, and I used to get out, because I knew that if I got out, and this was in the winter it started, I knew if I got out in the fresh cold air, it would give me a burst. It's like cold water swimming, it gives you a burst of energy. And I couldn't face the thought of being stuck in the house all day, because I knew I couldn't go to sleep, because my daughter was a few months old, and I just, the minute I went to sleep, I could guarantee she would wake up and need feeding or something. So I just couldn't bear the thought of it. It was like torture being in a house with a bed when you couldn't go to sleep, when you were just so tired. It was untrue, because you got a baby. So I used to run around school, drop the boys at school, I'd have my daughter in the buggy with the rain cover or whatever was on to keep her warm. I'd have the dog strapped around my waist and off I'd go. And do you know what? I got to the point where I'd be out. I mean, I say running, I was jogging really, jogging and power walking for over 2 hours. And I'd be going up and down hills and I'd be off road and God, I must have been so fit. And I actually, became quite famous actually in the village for this mad woman who you would see out in all weathers with the buggy and the dogs just running. And you know what? I wasn't doing it to get fit. I wasn't doing it to lose weight. I wasn't doing it for any of those reasons. I was doing it just to survive. I was doing it to just get through the day because I didn't know what else to do. And what I think that realization came to me this morning when I was out walking. And I think what had happened was when I'd read the book The Salt Path and I'd been watching this family's progress on Instagram, I think it had triggered something in me and I wasn't really quite sure. I just knew that I needed to get out and start walking. I needed to get out and start moving in Mother Nature. I needed to be in a simple, not man-made, not artificial environment, just in solitude, in nature and in a rhythm and walking and doing something. I just knew. And today, day 2, it came to me already what it was about. It's about finding a way to live a more genuine and real life. I think we are so surrounded by so much stuff and materialism, so many choices, so much news, so much information, so much of everything. And we're getting further and further and further away from the environment that actually really nourishes us. And I know that can sound a bit wishy-washy, but honestly, I'm only on day 2. My legs are aching. I've got some really big blisters on my feet. And yet my mental state, I would say today, is better than it's been for months. And it feels like I'm not only regaining a bit of me, but there's something deeper than that going on. So at periodic intervals, I think I'm just going to share the insights. It's a strong thing for me today. It's something as simple as walking. And this menopause really, really has, it's been as life-changing as when I had children. And I'm not sure I'm back on my feet yet. And this feels, day 2, it feels like the combination of that book and going for a walk and just rediscovering the simplicity of being a human being in nature and away from all of the narrative and the pressure. There's something quite deep in there which I think might unravel over the next 3 weeks. So my initial goal is I have to go every day, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday for 3 weeks. And then I'm hoping to be in a routine, because it takes 3 weeks to establish a routine and habit. And I've always said every time I've got fit, after the kids and all kinds of things, 3 weeks, you commit to 3 weeks and then it becomes part of your life and it becomes something that you choose to do and that brings you joy. So I'll keep you posted. Lots of love. Hope it helps.